Okay, I've done our hookup here, and normally you would strap up whatever the bracket was holding the original compressor. I mean compressor capacitor. You'd use the same bracket to hold up the new one, and then maybe tie straps to hold up the little one. You could tie strap it to the wires, just in case something would fall down. Normally I would wrap black tape around these leads because they're exposed, and if they hit something, this would be okay. I mean, this one, when they're mounted up like that, would be okay because it's not gonna fall down and hit anything. Electrically, you can see the same thing. Is the blue was the start for the compressor, and I'm going to go from run to start for the compressor. Remember, the yellow is the run. It's the run for power coming in. It's the run to this capacitor. Then I have a little jumper. This is the only thing that you have to make when you do this kind of a repair. And actually, I have a handful of these I make ahead of time in the truck because it just saves time out on the job. So then the motor is the start on the motor, goes to run. So again, so we go on start to run. We're going start to run, and then the power coming in. This is run. This is common for the compressor. The orange is common for the fan motor. And it's just that simple. And so this is one of the compressor capacitors that I have. It's a 40. It's sort of in the middle from 20 on up to 60 or 80. And this would be one of my two fives that I would use, because fives and 7.5s are very, very common for condenser fan motors. Every once in a while you have a 4, and every once in a while, if it's a bigger unit, it may have a 10. So that's why I keep two 5s, two 7.5s, and two 10s, because a lot of times two successive service calls need the same thing, and I may need two 5s, and one would be a 30 on one unit and a 40 on another, or whatever. I'll have to be honest with you. Normally, I do carry one or two 35s by 5 dual capacitors on the truck. Being a Carrier Bryant dealer, that is a very, very popular size, and it's just a lot easier if you have to have it. But there's no way that you could stock all that you would need. Plus, there might be some really weird where you got 55 by 5, and there is such a thing, and you may never use it, but you can use the 50, and then you can use the 5 or 4 or 7.5, depending on what the motor is. So that's a very, very common repair that you're going to have to learn how to do. Now, if you look at this and you look at that one drawing I made, you can see the comparison. But sometimes it might help to see it in actually living color. I'm going to change the display here because